Hello everybody, welcome again to the lecture series on satellite communication. We are studying antenna subsystem in the satellite communication system. So yesterday already we have started about the antenna subsystem, some part is over. Now we will see the remaining thing, and before going to see the next one, we will see the revision of the previous topic, that is regarding again antenna subsystem only. Quickly I will complete this one. We have seen yesterday what is antenna, and I have taken one block diagram like this. Here transmitter is there. The last stage of the transmitter is the transmitting antenna, and from this we are transmitting into the free space. At the receiver side, the first block is receiving antenna, that is this one, and here receiver is there. Like this we have taken, and the channel is free space. And with this concept we have defined the antenna in different ways. And as I said in the last class, the antenna we can remember easily, the definition is RRR. That means antenna is the device which can radiate, receive radio waves. Like that we can able to remember that one. That is the definition of the antenna, like that we can tell. And if you see this concept, transmitter, it is attached to the transmitting antenna, the receiving antenna is attached to the receiver. So here modulation process, low pass filter, all those things will be there, encoding, quantization, sampling, all those processes will be done in the transmitter level. So finally here you will get the modulated signal, but that is the electrical signal. But in the free space EM waves should travel. So this electrical signal is converted to EM waves, by using this antenna, that is transmitting antenna. And EM waves are fall on the receiving antenna, and these EM waves are converted to electrical signals by using this receiving antenna. So this electrical signal, the converted electrical signal will be sending through to the demodulator and the further blocks in the receiver. So if you see orally, the electrical signal is converted to EM wave by using this particular antenna called transmitting antenna. And here the EM waves are converting into electrical signals by using receiving antenna. So I can tell now the antenna is a transducer that is converting one form of energy into another form of energy, that may be electrical to electromagnetic or electromagnetic to electrical energies. So in this way also we can define. And one more thing is, the input for the antenna is 50 ohms. The output of the antenna is, because here free space is there, the free space impedance is 377 ohms or 120 pi ohms. So in this way we can define. So here impedance is transforming from 50 ohms to 377 ohms. So I can say antenna is impedance transformer. So till now we have seen three different properties of the antenna. Those are: antenna can radiate, receive radio waves. Antenna is working as the transducer, that is converting electrical to electromagnetic or electromagnetic to electrical energy. Then antenna is converting the impedance also, that is 50 ohms to 377 ohms also. Free space impedance also it is converting. All these things yesterday we have seen. So quickly I am going. Next is, antenna is a reciprocal device. Reciprocity property is followed by the antenna. That means the same antenna can be using as the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna. Next to radiation pattern. About this one we have discussed much about this one. Actually the radiation pattern is 3D plot. 3D plot. By cutting that 3D plot horizontally and vertically, we will get a 2D plot. And this 2D plot can be drawn as a rectangular form or as a polar form. In this way we can able to define. So if you take one isotropic antenna that can able to radiate the EM waves in all directions equally. So if you take all the points at certain amount of distance, if you connect all the radiation points, you will get a sphere. Okay, so the radiation pattern of that particular isotropic antenna is a sphere, like that you can able to get. Okay, because that is isotropic antenna in all directions, that is radiating equally. But if you take any practical antenna, cannot able to radiate equally in all directions. Okay, any practical antenna can able to radiate maximum in one particular direction, and in remaining directions lesser amount of radiation is there as compared to that maximum radiation, or in some directions zero amount of radiation is available. Yesterday we have seen about that one. For example, if you consider this type of radiation pattern, it is polar form I am using. So in this direction I am taking the maximum amount of radiation, maximum radiation, and here 0 radiation is there, and then here somewhat larger radiation is there, and again it is becoming 0, and again here one more lobe I am taking. All these things are lobes, and here it is 0, here it is 0, and throughout this angle is 0 only. So like this we can able to take the radiation pattern. So this is 2D plot only, but it is represented in particularly polar form. But if you take the rectangular form, here I am taking that one. Rectangle means again I am taking here on x-axis theta or phi I need to take, and this is theta is equal to 0, theta 30, theta 60, theta 90, like this up to 180 you can take, and it is 0, it is minus 30, minus 60, minus 90. For example, we can take like this. From minus 30 to plus 30, the main lobe is available like this. That means exactly at theta is equal to 0, maximum amount of radiation is there. In which direction? Theta means we can tell that is direction only. So in which direction maximum amount of radiation is there? That is called bore site. That is called bore site direction. Okay. So I can tell the radiation pattern means it is the plot, it is the graph of radiation pattern, means it is a graph of the received signal strength of the antenna with respect to the angle. I can define the radiation pattern like this. Okay, received signal strength means that can be power, that can be electric field, or that can be magnetic field. Okay, so in this way we can able to define. So bore site also I have already told to you. So in this diagram you can able to observe the same thing what I told here. Theta is taken on the x-axis, and power or electric field or magnetic field can be taken on the y-axis. It is in the rectangular form. So at theta is equal to 0, maximum amount of radiation is there. As we go right side, the energy is decreasing or the power is decreasing like this. Okay, and here maximum amount of radiation is there, that is at theta is equal to 0. As theta is increasing, the energy is decreasing and becoming to 0 here. Okay, so at some point I can say the power is becoming off. For example, here 10 watts amount of power is maximum it is radiating. So what is off of that one? 5 watts. So here I can get, for example, here 5 watts is there, and this side also 5 watts is there. Like this we have taken. So 5 watts is available up to what amount of angles that we have to consider. So at a theta is equal to 1 and minus 1, the power is becoming 0. Here nulls are available. This is nulls. And exactly at theta is equal to 0, 10 watts amount of power is there. But at what angle? The power is becoming off of the maximum value. That means 10 by 2 means here it is becoming 5, and here also it is becoming 5. Like this we can able to take. So the width of the angle for which the power is becoming off, the width of the angle the power is becoming off is called off power beam width, is called off power beam width. It is the width of the angles where the power is becoming off. We can tell that is the off power beam width, represented with the theta bandwidth. Like this, off power bandwidth. Like this we can represent, or theta 3 dB also we can represent. Why should we represent with 3 dB? Means here power is becoming off. If you make that off, that means 1 by 2 into dB, that will become 3. So theta 3 dB means that is representing off power beam width only. Okay, theta 3 dB means off power beam width. In the problems also, if I mention theta 3 dB is equal, for example, 17 degrees, then you need to consider that is the off power beam width only. Okay, then now just now I have defined about the off power beam width. Now we will see about radiation intensity. Yesterday already we have discussed about this one. Once again you see, radiation intensity means it is the amount of radiated power, the amount of radiated power per unit solid angle. So in the last class I have given the explanation about the normal angle and solid angle. and the normal angle is given in terms of the radians, and the solid angle is given in terms of the steradians. Okay, normal angle is related to the circle, and this solid angle is related to the sphere. Okay, and the definition of angle is given by angle is equal to arc length. Angle is equal to arc length. What is this arc length? Arc length by radius. This is the formula for the angle. If you take this circle, here origin is there. Okay, center of the circle is available, and from this if you take like this is R, this is R, and this is becoming the arc length. Because of this theta angle, this arc length is created. This arc length is created because of this theta angle. Okay, so this angle is represented as, it is a ratio of this arc length and the radius. Radius is fixed. Whether you are taking any point on this circle from the center, the same distance you will get, that is called radius only. That's why angle is equal to arc length by radius. And in case of this sphere, you assume it is sphere. Don't see here circle, you assume the sphere, and the sphere center is available here, for example, sphere center. And here if you extend the pattern like this, if you extend from the center the pattern towards the surface of the sphere, then here you will find a certain amount of spherical curve you will get. Spherical curve you will get on the surface of the sphere, and it must be R and R. It must be R and R. Here how we have taken R, here also R we need to take. So because here the area is formed, okay, it is length. On the circle length will be formed. Okay, on the center, on the circle length will be formed, but on the sphere what will be formed here, like conical shape you have to take. Okay, you assume here center is available, here center is available, so within that sphere I am expanding the angle like this, because here certain amount of solid angle theta is available. For example, you assume that is theta, actually that is represented with d omega or omega. Okay, it is represented with d omega, differential solid angle. Okay, so you assume here one sphere is there, and in here what is there, center of the sphere is there. I am extending this R with the R and R, this is the angle, so I am extending like this towards the surface of the sphere. Then you will get this type of nature you will get on the surface of the sphere. Okay, whatever the area is covered by all these fingers. Okay, by extending like this, okay, like this, you can able to see here solid angle is available. Okay, then certain amount of area is there here. Then the solid angle is defined by solid angle is equal to this particular area by R square. So you see the difference between the angle and the solid angle. Angle is equal to arc length by radius, but here solid angle is equal to area by whatever the subtended area is there, that area by R square we have to take. Here R is fixed. Okay, radius R is fixed. Here R square is fixed. Okay, then here for example you assume this is the radiation pattern of the antenna. Now you come to the antenna. Here this is isotropic antenna is there at the center of the sphere, and certain amount of angle we have taken, we are extending like this. Here in the definition of the radiation intensity, it is the power. First of all, it is the power, amount of radiated power. So the radiation intensity is also measured in watts only. Power is measured in watts, radiation intensity is also watts only, because that is also radiated power only, but per unit solid angle. For example, if you consider this is isotropic antenna, it is radiating in all the directions. It is radiating in all the directions equally. That's why the sphere has been created. Okay, but whenever you are taking here per unit solid angle, you should not take total power. You should not take total power. We have to take the radiated power for only this solid angle only, for unit solid angle. Here what is the unit solid angle? This become 1. Solid angle is equal to 1. Denominator is fixed R square. This has to be changed. In order to make this fraction is 1, the area must be equal to R square. If this area is equal to R square, then whatever the angle is there here, that is called one solid angle. So for one solid angle, okay, totally it is radiated. For example, entire this room is radiated by using this particular isotropic antenna. I am here, for example, you assume I am the isotropic antenna. My speech signal is going in all the directions. Okay, isotropically it is going in all the directions equal, but you should not take total amount of the speech signal power. Okay, whatever the power is radiated by using me, whatever the power is radiated equally in all the directions, so you should not consider the total power. You should consider only certain amount of portion you need to take, like a solid angle. I am here, okay, antenna is here, so from the center you need to take unit solid angle only. If you extend like this, that roof will be subtended by this particular amount of area only, okay, this particular area only it will be available. So through that area, how much power is radiated, that is called radiation intensity. Okay, so radiation intensity means first of all that is the power, but not total power radiated. It is the amount of power radiated per unit solid angle only. It is not total power. Okay, per unit solid angle, how much amount of power is radiated, that is the radiation intensity. The first thing you need to remember about the radiation intensity is, don't think that it is different from the power. Okay, you need to understand the first thing is radiation intensity is also the power. So it is also having the units of watts only. And this EMTL and antenna subject can be understand, even though we are studying our satellite communication, this topic is purely related to the antennas only. Okay, so antenna subsystem which is available in the satellite communication systems we are studying. So here the radiation intensity means it is also power measured in watts. Okay, then per unit solid angle we are taking. Then coming to this directivity, d of theta comma phi. Why should we take here d of theta comma phi? Even for the radiation intensity also I have represented with p of theta comma phi. Okay, I have represented with p of theta comma phi, and in some textbooks you will find u of theta comma phi. Okay, the radiation intensity is also represented using the letter u, capital U of theta comma phi. And if you see this directivity and gain, these are also represented with within the bracket theta comma phi they have given. What is the reason for that one? Okay, so from the signals and systems onwards, from your second year onwards, you can able to understand that if anything I have represented like this, f of x or f of theta, okay, or x of t, like this, if you represent, what is the meaning of this one? Okay, you need to talk about this for some time. Okay, f of x, what do you understand with that one? F of x is a signal or the mathematical function, f is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. If you draw the rectangular plot for this one, this x variable should be taken on the x axis, this f variable should be taken on the y axis. For each value of x, the value of f is defined. So if you add all those points, then you will get the relationship in between these two. Okay, that is the thing I can tell. So similarly, you see here only one variable is given within the bracket. That means this is one dimensional signal. It is depending on only one independent variable, that is x, and here it is also one dimensional signal and that is depending on the only one independent variable theta, and it is also one dimensional signal. Why these three are one dimensional signals? Because these three are depending on only one independent variable. Okay, similarly if you see here d of theta comma phi, g of theta comma phi and p of theta comma phi means what? Within the bracket two variables are there, means this particular d is depending on two independent variables theta and phi. That is the meaning of that one. So I can tell it is a two dimensional signal because it is depending upon the two independent variables theta and phi. So in which direction maximum amount of directivity is available, or in which direction minimum amount of directivity is available, or in which direction zero amount of directivity is available. So all those things are different. That's why we have to include here the variables. If you don't include the variable, the d value is always 1 only. Okay, for which antenna it is possible? I can take d is equal to one fixed value. For which type of antenna? Only for isotropic antenna I can consider d is equal to some constant, g is equal to some constant, like that I can take. But here we should, for all the practical antennas, we should represent d of theta comma phi and g of theta comma phi and p of theta comma phi only, because with respect to angle the radiated power is different. Okay, here you see the amount of radiated power per unit solid angle. That solid angle, whatever the solid angle you are considering, that may be towards the maximum radiation. If you see this diagram, you assume it is the radiation pattern of one particular practical antenna. Okay, so in this direction, if you see while measuring this radiation intensity, if you can able to see in this direction, then you will find the maximum amount of radiated power. But if you see towards this side, okay, towards this side if you consider, here no power is radiated, so the radiation intensity in this particular direction is equal to 0. So for what value of theta and for what value of phi you are measuring the radiation intensity is very, very important. So the values of theta and phi should be taken very, very accurately, very properly you have to consider while measuring whether it is directivity or gain or radiation intensity. Actually radiation intensity is required to calculate these two, directivity and gain. Okay, so in all directions the radiation intensity or the directivity or the gain are not equal for the any practical antenna. So while considering the calculations of radiation intensity or the directivity or the gain, you need to taken care very much in which direction maximum radiation intensity is there or in which direction the radiation is maximum, like that you need to take. Okay, so in that particular direction only you have to measure, then only you will get the maximum radiation. Okay, maximum radiation calculations can be done properly, otherwise you will get the wrong results you will get. Okay, now we will see what is directivity. Actually this directivity is related to the focusing capacity. The focusing capacity. It depends on why should I have more focusing capacity means it depends upon the application. In my application I want only point to point communication, only from one user to another user I need to communicate. I no need to communicate from one user to, from the source to, I no need to communicate to for a large region to all the India, to all the people who are available in India. I need to transmit the data in the sense that is not point to point communication, that is broadcasting. Okay, so depends upon the application whether it is point to point communication or the broadcasting, we need to looking for this directivity. When you want point to point communication, okay, the narrow beams are required, at that time the directivity must be very, very high. Okay, if the directivity is high, then I can say the focusing capacity of that particular antenna is good, the focusing capacity is good, like that we need to take. Okay, then coming to this gain of the practical antenna. So before going to see what is gain, first we will see the mathematical expressions for the directivity. So the directivity means already I told it is about the focusing capacity of the antenna. So directivity of theta comma phi is equal to, it is defined in terms of the radiation intensity. I can use capital P or U, whatever it may be. So U of theta comma phi by the average value of U of theta comma phi of the isotropic antenna. You are talking about practical antenna. Okay, you are talking about the practical antenna. The directivity of one particular practical antenna we are defining now. So for this practical antenna, how much amount of radiation intensity is there? Radiation intensity of practical antenna by the average radiation intensity. The average radiation intensity of the isotropic antenna with the same power is given. Okay, you have two antennas now. While defining this directivity or gain, you need to consider two antennas. One is your antenna for which you need to calculate the directivity. Another one is the isotropic antenna. Actually isotropic antenna is the ideal one. Okay, so whatever the amount of power you are giving as input to your practical antenna, same input you try to give for the isotropic antenna also. So with this input, your practical antenna is giving certain amount of radiation intensity. With the same input, the isotropic antenna is also giving certain amount of radiation intensity. The ratio of these two will be taken as the directivity. Okay, the ratio of these two will be taken as a directivity. So it is equal to, I can rewrite like this: d of theta comma phi for the practical antenna, d of theta comma phi is equal to u of theta comma phi. What is u of theta comma phi? The radiation intensity of the practical antenna for which we are calculating the directivity, by, I can write here Pt by 4 pi. Pt by 4 pi. Like this I can able to take the average radiation intensity. Already we have seen what is the power flux density, what is the received power, all those things we have seen. So according to that one, I can write the denominator, average radiation intensity of the isotropic antenna can be taken as Pt by 4 pi. Okay, then we can rewrite this one as 4 pi into u of theta comma phi by Pt. So in this way we can give the equation for the directivity of the practical antenna. Now coming to gain of the practical antenna. So there is a relation between directivity and the gain of the practical antenna. How can we get that relation also I will tell here. So gain of the practical antenna g of theta comma phi. When I give here within the bracket two variables are there, means it is a two-dimensional thing. That means the gain is depending on theta and phi. For particular values of theta and phi, it can be maximum. For another values of theta and phi, it can be 0 or it can be minimum or in between minimum and maximum. So depends upon theta and phi, the value will be changed. So the definition of or the mathematical equation of this gain and directivity are somewhat similar. So see carefully. It is equal to the gain of theta comma phi is equal to radiation intensity of the practical antenna for which you are calculating here also the gain of the practical antenna only. So when you need the gain of the practical antenna, it is equal to radiation intensity of the practical antenna, that means same antenna. For which antenna you are calculating the gain, for that antenna only you have to take the radiation intensity. Now cross polarization also I have told about this one. You see these two. Here it is A direction, it is B direction or AB vectors are there. Cross polarization discrimination is available. Here cross polarization interference is available. Two things are considered in case of the cross polarization. So here A vector is there, that is received here. Okay, and same A vector is coming in the perpendicular direction of this receiving A direction also. Okay, here about B is not received here. Or you assume here only A vector is there. Okay, electric field you can able to assume in the direction of A, but if you see at the receiver side, this is as it is we got here, there is no problem, it is okay. But we don't want A in this direction, in this particular direction. But here also we got that one. This is called cross polarization discrimination. We don't want this one. That's why first of all that is the cross polarization, and this A is required here. Okay, and same A is coming in the another direction also. That's why it is cross polar discrimination. And if you see the second case, A is required in this direction, vertically it is required, and B is required perpendicular to the board, like this it is there. But at the receiver side, A and B both are available in the same direction. Okay, so it is also unwanted thing only. That's why it is called cross polarization. But here interference of the two components is occurring. That's why it is called cross polar interference. Okay, cross polarization itself is undesired thing. So with this we have completed antenna subsystems, and these are the quiz questions you can able to answer by listening this lecture. So explain about antenna system equipment, whatever I told you, total thing you can able to write here, and you need to write in such a way that the necessity of the antennas you need to write in the satellite communication. One thing you need to remember, for any wireless communications antennas are essential. Okay, so you should start with the block diagram where the transmitting antenna is connected to the transmitter as the last stage, and the receiving antenna is connected as the first stage of the receiver. Then you can able to start writing that answer. Then what are the cross polarization interference and cross polarization discrimination? These two things you can able to write by listening this lecture properly. Thank you.